this U.S. national team, and that the transition has been surprisingly seamless with all these young players really coming under the wings of these older, more veteran players.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Costa Rica coming in as heavy underdogs against a very strong USA team, ranked #1 by FIFA, certainly expected to win this tournament with ease.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem of Costa Rica, to be followed by the national anthem of the United States.
the national anthems of both Costa Rica and the United States as we get set for the first game for these two teams. It's the second game of the night. In the first game, Mexico with a 6-0 win over Puerto Rico. Also in Group A, a hat trick from the veteran Maribel Dominguez. Group B starts tomorrow. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for these two teams. We start with the USA.
Well, a lot of familiar faces, particularly in that back line and in goal with Hope Solo. But if you are just seeing this team for the first time from the World Cup, you've got Lindsey Horan being inserted into that lineup, that defensive center mid position, likely trying to replace a Lauren Holiday, and also keep an eye out for the athletic and active Crystal Dunn on the right flank.
As for Costa Rica, some very familiar faces that we saw at the World Cup, including the #1 goalkeeper, Diaz.
Diaz was a fantastic for Costa Rica in World Cup qualifying and in the World Cup as well. And number 11, Raquel Rodriguez, just having a dream year. Number 2 pick in the NWSL draft, NCAA champions with Penn State University as well.
Carly Lloyd will captain the USA side. She and Becky Sauerbrunn are basically captains of the team, but Lloyd wears the armband. Those are the available subs, and keep our eye on the left side of your screen. Wonderful to see the 17-year-old Mallory Pugh tonight.
Yeah, she is fantastic, getting her first cap last month, and a young player, but mature beyond her years.
Match referee is Cardella Samuels from Jamaica. Some added responsibility for Carly Lloyd wearing the captain's armband. Wearing it on the opposite side is Shirley Cruz, arguably their best players. She's certainly their most experienced player and a former teammate of Horan and Heath with Paris Saint-Germain. Just about set for action. Costa Rica has never beaten the United States, and at one point, some 11 games, they hadn't even scored against them. Got 2 the last time they met on the victory tour, but an 8-0 loss and a 7-2 loss. In both of those games, Danielle, they conceded early goals. They can't afford to do that tonight.
No, because this is a game that matters in terms of qualifying. They have got to play the United States well, because a second place berth is on the line in Group A. Likely the U.S. are favorites, but Mexico and Costa Rica are likely battling for that second place spot.
Luck of the draw, if you will, if you're Costa Rica. Tough to start with the USA, game 1.
Tough to start with the USA, but they have Puerto Rico last, and that's where Puerto Rico next, which means that they can really make up some ground and score some goals. They know exactly what they have to do.
Final game against Mexico could really mean something for them. Off that whistle, we are underway with the USA in white, Costa Rica red tops and the blue shorts. Immediate long ball from the U.S. Morgan in the box with that shot, and they're on the board. Just talked about not conceding an early goal. Hadn't hit 20 seconds yet.
That's got to be one of the fastest goals scored in Olympic qualifying history. Just 2-3 passes. The United States goes back and then goes directly forward, finding the head of Carly Lloyd, who is absolutely superwoman right now. And then Alex Morgan just running off her simple one touch. Her first touch of the game, it's a goal.
And it's interesting, it's their first tournament in the post-Abby Wambach era. And you would think if Abby was playing, maybe you're going for the long ball like that.
Well, and right now Carly Lloyd is just playing so fabulously. I mean, she can do it all, in the air, on the ground, in behind, to her feet. She's so dynamic in attack.
Yep. Best player in the world, FIFA Player of the Year on the women's side. Bad giveaway. Crystal Dunn is on it. The shot taken, tipped over the bar by Diaz. She doesn't make that save. They're down 2-0 before we've hit 2 minutes. The U.S. will have a corner.
And one of the real strengths of the United States is when they can do that high pressure, and Crystal Dunn just does that right there.
Corner from Morgan Bryant. Julie Johnson, one of the targets. It goes forward. Lloyd was going after that one as well.
And keep an eye on Julie Johnson, because she beat her defender, and she is dangerous at that near post. Everybody knows that she's going there, and yet she still finds a way to get her head on the ball.
Second corner for Bryant. Morgan Bryant became a starter at the Women's World Cup. Played next to Lauren Holiday, one of the players that the USA must replace. She has retired from the game. Off that in-swinger, near post. Blocked just wide somehow. It's going to be another corner. Costa Rica looks disorganized.
Yeah, and there have been two different looks on these corner kicks. I mean, you see the United States all lining up on that goal line. But even then, Costa Rica still unable to clear it when it bounces right at their feet.
This one towards the middle. Diaz took a swing at it and got a piece of it. The U.S. will scramble to get it back. Krieger, the right back, has that one deflected. And it's going to belong to Costa Rica. Alex Morgan, they're hoping that she could just stay healthy.
Yeah, and she plays such a huge role. And this is what I want to see more of. I want to see that chemistry continue to build between Carly Lloyd and Alex Morgan. I mean, you see a perfect example of Alex being able to read Carly and go exactly where the ball lands once she's able to flick it off of her head. Fantastic dynamic start, but that needs to continue to evolve if they're to be successful, not just in this tournament, but in Rio in August.
And while Lloyd has always been a midfielder, she is playing higher up the field with more offensive responsibilities underneath Morgan.
And I like that move and that decision by Jill Ellis. Carly Lloyd is just playing too good to not keep her as close to goal as possible.
Lloyd fighting to get the ball back. Raquel Rodriguez had a great career, brilliant career at Penn State. Got it forward. Well, Costa Rica could use some possession here. Can't be defending all night. Jill Ellis trying to see what she has here with this team. She's going to have to make some roster decisions because in Olympic qualifying, you can suit up 20 players, including 3 goalkeepers. You got to cut it to 18 for the Olympics.
And that's certainly a tough spot to be in. And I think players who are versatile and can play in multiple positions will certainly be a consideration for her because there are so few players on that roster.
Daniela Cruz will take this throw in. Esperantes. Cruz, number 8, sending it across. Long run by Herrera on that far side, but it goes out of play. Hope Solo will put it back into play. That's Emilia Valverde. She was named the head coach in January after the team had already qualified, so this is the first time that she's been involved in a major tournament to try to qualify.
But certainly got some experience while coaching in the World Cup, one of the youngest coaches to lead her team in the World Cup this summer.
They did well, by the way. Had a couple of draws and a loss, and in that last game, if things had turned out a little bit differently, they might have got to the round of 16.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a dream year and a dream couple of years for Costa Rica. I mean, just having so much success at the youth level, qualifying for the World Cup for the first time, and then making a bit of a run of it in group play.
After what the men did at the World Cup.
I mean, just a dream 4 years, really, for Costa Rica. I'll be curious to see if they can continue to keep that momentum. I mean, they likely are not going to qualify for the Olympics because there's only 2 roster spots for the CONCACAF region, but will Costa Rica continue to invest in this next cycle? That's a big question that I have about their development and continued growth.
Julie Johnston wearing the number 8. Some number changes since the last World Cup, and even for this roster, because it has to go 1 through 20. Gathered in by Costa Rica up the middle. Rodriguez needed that ball to go wider for Barantes. It's going to be back towards Hope Solo. Most career wins in the U.S. soccer history, most shutouts as well for Hope Solo. Heath. Brian played it back. Johnston inches forward. She was one of 3 starters that didn't play the last game against the Republic of Ireland in January in San Diego. U.S. still winning that game by a 5-0 score. That was their only tune-up before this tournament.
And that was a tough camp that the United States had in January. 17 days, capped off by a significant win versus Ireland. But certainly some bumps and bruises coming out of some players in that camp. But Jill Ellis told us that everyone's healthy and everyone is good to go.
An Ali Krieger throw-in. Looking to turn. That's Dunn in the middle. She's taken down. Referee's pointing to the spot. The U.S. will have a chance to make it 2-0.
Shirley Cruz perhaps arguing that it was outside of the box, but look at how dynamic her touches are, and Shirley Cruz may have a case. It seemed to me to be just outside of that 18-yard line. Her momentum certainly carries her in the box, but the foul is outside of the box. That should be a direct kick, but from 19 yards away.
Agreed. Carly Lloyd will step up. Ninth minute, USA with a 1-0 lead. $19 goals in their last 14 games. And on that whistle, the strike, and that's an easy one. 2-0 USA.
Well, Carly Lloyd can certainly do it all. And Crystal Dunn, well done. I mean, she's taking dynamic touches and running at defenders at speed, and that's what causes the defender to make that decision to foul. Now, Carly Lloyd, simple, cool, calm, collected. I mean, she can just do it all, and she makes this look so easy.
Her 83rd international goal. Coming off a hat trick in about 28 minutes against the Republic of Ireland.
Those were some remarkable goals, too. Tough goals.
Yep.
Simple goals. I mean, she really can do it all right now.
Paid the price on one of them.
Yeah, it took a good knock to her face.
Ball out. So Costa Rica doing what they did in those 2 games on the victory tour, giving up goals early in the game. Now they have to chase it, but they have to be careful, as you and Sebastian were pointing out in the first one, where you have to watch out about the goal differential and the goals scored. Costa Rica's in that spot here.
Yeah, there's 3 top teams in this Group A: Mexico, the United States, and Costa Rica. The United States obviously the heavy favorites to win the group, but Mexico and Costa Rica battling it out for second, and Costa Rica upset Mexico in World Cup qualifying last year. So they've got to be able to keep it close and keep goal differential in mind. That last game, that 3rd game between Mexico and Costa Rica, could prove to be the deciding factor.
Cleared by Acosta. Acosta after it, just got it forward. Pressure on the ball from the U.S., but the foul was called before that on Crystal Dunn.
I like the aggressiveness of Crystal Dunn just in these first 10 minutes. On attack, she's taking dynamic touches. On defense, she's willing to step up in high pressure. And that's a real strength of the United States. When they can pressure appropriately and in a calculated way, they often force teams to turn the ball over.
Carly Lloyd's goal, her 9th in this, her 10th game in Olympic qualifying competition. Scores those big goals as well in the Olympics when they really count. Same as in the World Cup. Here's the U.S. on the attack. Costa Rica scrambling back, and the U.S. will earn another corner. Tobin Heath, also one of those players like Morgan Bryan that earned a starting job and couldn't get that starting job away in that World Cup.
She really grew throughout the tournament for me. I thought she started well, but just continued to evolve and progress, and was really deserving of all the minutes she received, especially by the end of the tournament.
Towards the middle. It's cleared away by Rodriguez. Immediately, though, from the U.S., there's pressure on the ball. And they win it. Carly Lloyd. And she couldn't keep that one in. She was hounded that time by Barantes. The U.S. defending pretty much in a 4-4-2 attack-wise. Jill Ellis says you can call it a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. The coaches hate to brand it.
I call it a swarming defense right now. They're just pressing all over the field. And really, the defending is starting from the forwards and the midfielders.
Valverde wasn't expecting to be down this badly this early, I'm sure.
Yeah, and normally you'd think, oh, 10, 12 minutes in, you're kind of settling into the game and teams are feeling each other out. But the United States just had a dream start. Jill Ellis said they have to start fast. They are playing against two teams who went to the World Cup in Costa Rica and Mexico in their first two games. And I really think if they can take care of business in these first two games, they're going to set themselves up well for that semifinal match, which is the match that really matters in this tournament because it determines who goes to the Olympics.
Go by Alex Morgan. If you joined us late, you missed it. 12 seconds in is the official time of it. Dunn will drop it back. Krieger, Johnston, Sauerbrunn. Those two played every minute in the World Cup, as did Klingenberg on that left side. Krieger almost played every minute. So the back four, the back five with Solo, with the exception of just a few minutes, played all the time.
Yeah, and really solid and experienced. And it's funny because going into the World Cup, all we kept talking about was the attack, and all of these personality players, and Abby Wambach and Sydney Leroux and Kristen Press. And who turned out to be the people we talked about at the end of the tournament?
Defenders.
It was the defending of the United States and Carly Lloyd, absolutely. But it was the defense that really grounded this team throughout Canada.
Canada will be in action tomorrow. They are, I would have to think, the favorites in Group B. They'll open up against Guyana, Guatemala versus Trinidad and Tobago, also here tomorrow night.
In Group A, certainly the stronger of the two groups in this tournament.
We go right to the semifinals after the group stage. The two semifinalists, two semifinal winners, I should say, advance to the Olympics. So they'll still play the final, but before that final kicks off, you'll know who the two teams are from CONCACAF that go to Rio.
And it's kind of strange to be in a situation where the semifinal game almost matters more than the final.
Yeah.
But that's indeed the case in this tournament.
Becky Sauerbrunn, long throw in. Second ball was flicked. Big save, big rebound. Dunn, blocked, and now it goes in. There were appeals for a foul, but it's not going to happen. It's a 3-0 lead for the U.S. and a yellow card. Gets to Cruz for that protest.
Well, this comes off of a throw-in, and watch Lindsey Horan just use her body to deflect that ball. And this is just effort. You have got to give it to Crystal Dunn. She was one of the last players cut from the roster in the Olympics, but her athleticism, her grit, her fight earns this goal and has not only earned her a spot on this team, but has earned her a starting role.
Crystal Dunn, certainly one of the players to watch. One of the last cuts from the World Cup, had a rebound from that. Came back in the victory tour and did very well. But now it's about consistency, right?
Yeah.
In games that matter.
Absolutely, and it's about doing it under pressure. And this is pressure because these are games that matter. She told us back this summer that she was crushed, but it took her about a week, and she responded. She turned her disappointment into motivation, and she's had the perfect response for the United States.
Crystal Dunn not only has a chance to be on the Olympic team, but she also has a chance to be a starter. And that'd be a nice comeback from her after being one of those last cuts.
Yeah, just brilliant. This is a goal that's just earned by grit. I mean, that first effort and then that second effort.
And I guess the card went to the goalkeeper, went to Diaz. I thought it was to Cruz who was closer, but I think it was to the goalkeeper, Diaz. We'll confirm that. 17th minute, free kick, Costa Rica. It's Catherine Alvarado will take it. Diaz did get that yellow card. Alvarado sending it in, but right at Solo. Easy play for Hope Solo. Golden Glove winner in the last two Women's World Cups.
One of the things I gotta say I respect so much about Hope Solo is that she doesn't have to do that much. Yet she stays engaged and continually comes up with a big save when she needs to. She might sit for 89 minutes, particularly against some of these teams in CONCACAF that don't pose a huge offensive threat, and yet she stays mentally into the game enough to be able to make those saves look nice and simple and easy.
Shelly Cruz slowed down by Horan. Acosta. Morgan's after it. Jill Ellis told us yesterday that the U.S. was just itching to play a game after all of the training, and they have come out flying.
Yeah, and you do. I mean, when you've been training together for 3 weeks in January like they did, and they've been together for quite some time in preparation for this, you just want to go kick somebody else aside from your teammates.
The Sauerbrunn pass. Horan. She was a forward with Paris Saint-Germain and a very good goal scorer. So she's had to change her position with the U.S., and they like her in that midfield spot.
And I like her, too, because I think she does better facing the goal as opposed to back to pressure or back to goal. And so her distribution and her vision is so great that if you can draw her away farther from the goal, I think she can spray that ball out to the right and left and make that final pass that, for me, is the next level for the United States.
Costa Rica will lose this one as well. Throw in for Krieger, getting it in quickly. Johnston plays in the NWSL with the Chicago Red Stars, moves it. Bryan just outside the circle, getting it forward to Tillman Heath. 3-0 lead for the U.S., 19th minute. Into the box for Lloyd. Went hard after it, it falls for Dunn. I think the flag was up. Costa Rica's ball. Crystal Dunn getting that last goal for the U.S. Morgan and Lloyd have already scored in this one. Alex Morgan 12 seconds into the game. She just played in her 100th game for the U.S. against the Republic of Ireland. Celebrated that with a goal. Her strike ratio is incredible now. 58 goals in this her 101st game.
And it's important for her to continue to build that confidence, keep evolving, and continue to find ways to hit the back of the net. As we mentioned, Abby Wambach is retired. She's got some more responsibility on her shoulders, and I think playing next to Carly Lloyd is going to help her do that. The best I've seen Alex play is when Abby Wambach was playing at her best, and she has that complementary role that really seems to suit her.
This was a tough collision with Johnston and Shirley Cruz. It could have ended up worse, probably.
Julie Johnson, such a solid player on that back line. Don't forget, she was not on the roster in World Cup qualifying. And look at her now.
Took advantage, too, of an injury to Christy Rampone.
Yeah.
And then claimed that job.
And I think it says something about players who might not be here on this roster. Doesn't mean that you can count them out. Jill Ellis had said players like Whitney Engen, Heather O'Reilly, who are not on this roster, does not mean that they are not necessarily available for the Olympics should the U.S. qualify.
Another long ball, knotted down. Lloyd try to keep it moving. Klingenberg high up the field from her left back spot. Heath. Oh, she drew the foul there, and another dangerous opportunity here. USA with a free kick.
Tobin Heath, so savvy on the ball. Just those little touches it was what creates the movement that makes it challenging for defenders. When you see Carly Lloyd standing over the ball, look for her to shoot this. Normally you'd find her in the box as a target. So to me, this is a signal that she might just strike it from there with her right foot.
Diaz trying to set up the wall. Lloyd from 22 yards out. Played short. She got it back. Driven long, high and wide. They probably looked better in the training field than the way it ended up.
Yeah, certainly not quite what I expected. But Jill Ellis said that this is something that they've been working on, talking about. She said, we didn't do it in training like that. Yeah. But they certainly have been working in set pieces because they have so many young players in. She said that revisiting set pieces is something that they've certainly covered in training. Not quite the execution they were hoping for, but
I actually liked it.
I liked the idea.
I did. It just didn't work, and that's why she was afforded that laugh.
She was like, we'll be practicing that one again.
Yeah. Lloyd broke it up. Venegas They're just swarming on every Costa Rica player that has the ball.
But it's organized and it's together, so it doesn't expend a ton of energy. It's not like every player is running individually. They're collective. They wait for Costa Rica to come, and when they make that pass, then they go.
How does Costa Rica sort that out and beat this press?
Well, they've got to continue to play quicker, and it's a challenge because their tempo isn't horrible right now, but that's how you break down this defense. Costa Rica is not a team that can beat the United States by playing direct balls over the top. They're better when the ball is on the ground, so they've got to look to make those 1-2 quick passes and then change the point, find space where the white jerseys are not.
Wow, she really took advantage of that throw-in, or tried to. They moved her back about 10 yards. Cruz with that throw-in. Venegas blocked. Morgan Bryan leaves it for Dunn. Bryan on the right side. Morgan, Dunn, broken up. Costa Rica will try to attack with numbers, but before they can, the U.S. have everybody back.
That transition from defense to attack and then attack to defense is something that the United States is executing very well right now.
Coming all the way back into Costa Rica territory. Wendy Acosta will pick it up. Played all 3 games at the World Cup, 90 minutes in each, as did a lot of those players, especially in the back line for Costa Rica.
And it was such a joy to watch Costa Rica. I mean, there was so much passion and joy and excitement that they had for representing their country for the first time. I remember Raquel Rodriguez scoring that first goal, and you would have thought there were tears in every one of those players' eyes. It was really special to watch. It really was.
Ali Krieger with it. USA with a commanding 3-0 lead, 25th minute. Wide is Morgan Bryan. Setting it across. Headed right at goal, and Diaz makes the stop. But Alex Morgan has looked very threatening tonight, not just because she scored early, but on all of her runs, her movement.
And one other thing that's been so impressive to me so far about the U.S. as a whole is they're interchanging in their movement. That's Morgan Bryan, who is a holding center mid out there on that right flank. We've seen Crystal Dunn cut in quite a few times, and that changing in midfield and that small group dynamic work has been quite impressive.
Lloyd brings it back. Morgan, Klingenberg. This one given away. Rodriguez. Acosta. Cruz. And there's that high press from the U.S. At the time it was Lloyd leading it.
And anytime Costa Rica has the opportunity, they have to go forward. Because every time they make that back pass, it's a signal for the United States to swarm defensively.
Dania Diaz with that short ball to Alvarado. Acosta. Ball is out. Krieger will have another throw in. Spent the last 3 years playing with the Washington Spirit of the NWSL. Sauerbrunn. Heath. Klingenberg. Should be playing this year with the Portland Thorns in the NWSL. Crystal Dunn. She has that last goal for the U.S. End line. She tried to play it across. Looked like that entire ball was out.
We've talked about the NWSLs a couple times, and it's so important for the United States to continue to have that professional league. I mean, Crystal Dunn is the perfect example of going away from the national team, using a professional league to develop and earn your way back. And exciting time, 4th potential year for the NWSL, so huge moment in history for professional women's soccer. First time it's ever happened.
Yeah, other leagues have tried and failed.
Yep.
This one seems to have a better game plan.
Yeah.
Off a deflected ball that comes all the way back to Diaz. His club team is Moravia. Most of the players on Costa Rica play domestically. Some play outside the country, like Rodriguez, who now will be playing in the NWSL, and Shirley Cruz, playing with Paris Saint-Germain. But for the most part, domestic players.
And I think if Costa Rica is to close that gap and continue to make progress on the world stage, they're going to have to continue to send players overseas, either professionally or to the NCAA.
Horan lost it there. Costa Rica coming back with Alvarado. And Brian gets it back to Klingenberg. Knocked away by Alvarado, but she committed a foul in the process. The U.S. looking comfortable with a 3-0 lead. Apparently Alvarado was also booked for that. Here's the U.S. playing it across, and there's another opportunity for Morgan.
And the United States has certainly done a decent job of getting the ball wide, and I like their commitment to getting numbers in the box.
'30th minute, 3-0 lead for the U.S. Morgan, Lloyd, and Dunn are the goal scorers.
And 30 minutes in, if you're jealous, you're pleased with the way that the United States has started. I think their tempo is pretty good. I'd like to see the two center backs, Becky Sauerbrunn and Julie Johnson, play just a little bit faster. They have so much time, so it's difficult to play 1 and 2 touch when you don't have that pressure. But because there's so much time, they're the ones who are setting play, and I think that can improve a little bit. But overall, very, very solid start in possession for the United States. Good commitment to getting numbers forward as well.
Johnston pushing it back. Sauerbrunn pass for Lloyd. Klingenberg. Lloyd try to push it through. Brian got it outside. Klingenberg's cross. Morgan's after it, but Diaz picked it up.
The final service isn't quite there. Good ball in by Klingenberg, but look at the numbers in the box. Alex Morgan, the first runner in the box, she goes to the near post. You've got Crystal Dunn and Carly Lloyd also hovering around that far post, and runners trailing in behind as well.
Shirley Cruz is the player down in that collision with Julie Johnston. Cordella Samuels, the referee, comes over to have a look.
Shirley Cruz, the real leader of this team. She goes down, looks to grab her right leg.
She did not play in those 2 games in the Victory Tour. Her club side, yellow card for Julie Johnston. Her club team, Paris Saint-Germain, would not let her out for those games.
And I know, too, she's nursing an injury from a while ago, having knee surgery before the World Cup back in February of last year. She was not really questionable, but certainly something that they were paying attention to was her knee.
That certainly from that angle looked more serious than the initial look. And Valverde was calling for the card.
Yeah, and she's such a key player for them in midfield. She's really gone unnoticed, I think, on the world stage for so long, but as soon as Costa Rica qualifies for that World Cup, we continue to talk about Shirley Cruz and her success in Europe for PSG.
Costa Rica will play a player down for the moment. 10 versus 11. Played back to Alvarado. 33rd minute, USA with a 3-0 lead. And it started 12 seconds in with a goal by Alex Morgan. Bryan for Heath. Just inside the circle, played it forward. Horan got it wide. Bryan to the outside. Shelby Cruz, you can see number 10 back on the field. So she was not for long. After you made that point about Morgan Bryan, I'm watching how much ground she is covering on both sides of the ball. That time, high up the field on the left side and tracking back to defend as well.
And combining with Lindsey Horan right there. When we spoke to Jill Ellis, she talked about not only having partnerships in 1s and 2s, so it's not just Horan and Bryan anymore, but it's more dynamic and it's small groups and it's those partnerships of 3 and 4. Can you look for those third man combinations? The United States has been doing it well. Costa Rica's pressure hasn't been very high, so it's probably a little bit easier than some of the tougher teams that the United States will eventually face. I mean, the She Believes tournament coming up, it's going to be a little bit of a different story, but good start, good progress by the United States.
Morgan and line. And that ball was out. That tournament that you referenced, they'll be playing England, France, and Germany.
Can I get tickets to that one?
I mean, that's awesome to have it played in this country as well, in Florida and Tennessee. Those 3 games in March. That's why they're not going to the Algarve Cup. Have the tournament here. They never really get those teams to come here. That's part of the problem. You know, with some of these lopsided games and scores, you're going to get better when you play against better competition.
You're exactly right, JP. And it's 4 of the top 5 teams in the world are going to be playing in that tournament.
You'll see France and Germany in the Olympics this summer. Ball is played back. Diaz. Man, just lost out.
And perhaps it's worth noting that you won't see England because they play as Great Britain. That's really the only reason that we won't see them, because they finished so well in the World Cup. They should have qualified, except England is not eligible.
Costa Rica trying to win this and go forward. So much of this first half has been in their own half of the field, and it stays that way as Klingenberg try to take off, cut off. She keeps going. Finally knocked out by Saenz. Deanna Saenz out of the University of South Florida, a senior there. Lloyd tried to give and go with Bryan, but it was denied. Rodriguez pushing it wide. Daniela Cruz gave it away again too easily.
Morgan Bryan has been doing very well to just clog those passing channels. The players in front of her are making it very predictable, so she's getting in the right spot, but she's the one who continues to intercept that ball in the center of midfield.
Intended for Klingenberg. Comes all the way back to goal to Diaz. She was chased by Lloyd, almost forced to give away. Now it does force it. Heath played it wide. Klingenberg outside the box with that cross. 2 players collide. It falls for Dunn. She couldn't get the shot off. And now from distance, that's wide. 2 Costa Rica players going for the ball, take themselves out of the play, and the U.S. nearly gets a 4th goal.
So many red jerseys below the ball. I mean, look, there's 8 players in the screen right there. Tough to beat that bunker-style defense. The United States continue to go out wide, try and stretch them from side to side, and then continue to cross it back in, getting good numbers in the box.
For those that don't know, Lindsey Horan, first player to leave high school and go professional, went to play in Europe for a few years in France. Did well.
I had some real questions when she did that, but clearly it was the right choice for her, because she has found her way onto the U.S. women's national team in a significant role.
Yep, I think we all did, right? She had a chance to go to college.
Yep.
And she went pro and did well.
Yeah.
17 goals in 20 games her first year as a forward. I'm making Klingenberg supporter, for sure. Many of those. Here's Brian. Thought that was another foul that was drawn, but no call was made. That time it was Morgan. Ball given away to Dunn. Using that quickness. Kept her balance. Crystal Dunn up. The cross inside. It's going to be knocked away. Lloyd was going after it.
And unfortunately for the United States, Carli Lloyd just can't get in front of that last defender. Raquel Rodriguez does well to get goal side and ball side. It's something that Maribel Dominguez did in that first game, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. She made that slashing run, got a couple goals from it too.
Brian will take another corner. Pushing and shoving at the far post, Horan and Rodriguez. It bounces. Those are usually dangerous, but the foul is given. It was against the U.S. Costa Rica will put it back into play. A lot for them to talk about at halftime. Big thing for them. Doesn't look like they're going to score here, but can they not allow the U.S. another goal?
Yeah, and that's really the question. I think it's a mentality and it's a focus thing. I mean, there's been some times when they've let runners in the box go. They need to take care of all of those little details, defend together, and then try to pick and choose their chances when they can go forward or when they can earn a set piece and capitalize.
Lloyd ran into the referee. Look out, look out. Costa Rica coming back. Venegas pushing it wide. Herrera chased by Klingenberg. They haven't been this far in USA territory in a while. And as I say that, they lose possession. But the foul bails them out. Free kick, Costa Rica.
And this is the exact kind of opportunity that they need. It's close enough into goal where they can serve it into the box and get a dangerous shot on goal if they execute effectively.
Hope Solo will organize before this free kick. It's Catherine Alvarado. This will be about 26 or so yards away.
And I think you look to serve this behind the back line, far enough away from Hope Solo that she has to decide if she wants to come get it or not.
3 in the wall for the U.S. Alvarado setting it up there, and Solo grabs it.
Driven just too far in, easy save. Look at the clean footwork of Hope Solo. She makes that look so easy because she uses her feet so well.
Sauron. Heath. Swung out wide. Krieger. Here's Dunn, able to turn towards the end line. Played it across and may have let that one go a little bit too early. Rushed it.
Yeah, and that change of point, though, that all starts with Lindsey Horan and the quality of her service and the vision she has to play that ball out to the wide right defender, Ali Krieger.
Herrera. Shirley Cruz. Acosta. Daniela Cruz trying to go long. That was too long for Barantes. Hope Solo is back to collect. For Sauerbrunn, 3 straight years NWSL Defender of the Year.
She's been a fantastic defender, and much like Carli Lloyd now, added responsibility, taking on that captainship for the U.S. side.
Krieger, flag went up.
That's a good decision by the referee. Just a hair off, very close, but to me she was just a step offside.
Has anything changed, Danielle, since the 15th minute? Because that's the last goal that the U.S. has scored.
I think it's been that the United States is up 3-0, and there's a little bit natural tendency to kind of take your foot off of the gas. I think the United States needs to get back to that urgency with which they started the game. Can they continue to move the ball, move the pace, push the tempo? I think that'll help re-energize them. And that pressure that they started the game with, wow, that's really what kind of caused Costa Rica to be under pressure.
3-0 lead for the USA, getting close to halftime. First game ended 6-0 Mexico over Puerto Rico. Mexico will be the next opponent for the USA. That's on Saturday.
If I'm Amelia Valverde at halftime, I'm telling my team, let's just breathe. Let's just calm down. Yes, the scoreline is 3-0, but we're okay. How can we continue to progress and grow throughout this game and this tournament?
Lloyd has it blocked. Shirley Cruz.
If I'm in the other locker room and if I'm Jill Ellis, I'm saying this is a pretty darn good start. I would expect to probably see some fresh legs, maybe not at halftime, but early in the second half. And the expectation is that those players who are coming in, whether they're experienced, whether they're younger, newer players, is to raise the level and raise the energy and continue to build and progress with the way that the United States is playing.
Wendy Acosta. Left sideline, Barantes. Rodriguez. Well, these are the most passes that they've been able to string together this half.
And Costa Rica is good on the ball. They're comfortable with pressure. They can possess. I think the challenge becomes, can you possess when you get close to the goal and when there's a ton of defenders around you and when you have to battle physically? That's the real difference, too, for me. The United States is just so much fitter and dominant physically than this Costa Rican team.
Deanna Saenz with that throw in. Rodriguez. And that's knocked out.
And if Costa Rica is to have more success in the second half, I think we've got to see Raquel Rodriguez on the ball. I don't feel like we've talked about her or called her name very often. And when she's playing well, Costa Rica is playing well.
Johnston. Krieger. Dunn. Knocked away by Shirley Cruz. Dunn tries to win it back. Good effort, good hustle. U.S. gets it with Bryan. 2 minutes remaining here. 2 minutes added on in stoppage time. We're in stoppage time now. This would be a fantastic scoreline for Costa Rica if we were at 90 minutes.
Yeah, and the question becomes, can they hold this scoreline as they get more fatigued?
If they lost this game 3-0, you'd have to like their chances to be the second place team in this group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're a long way from that. Another half still to come. U.S. with the ball. Here they come with Lloyd. First touch failed. That's better from Costa Rica until that last ball that was picked up by Klingenberg. And immediately she finds the outlet in Heath. Long ball ahead towards Morgan. Costa Rica have to be careful here. They've managed to keep the U.S. off the board for the last just about 30 minutes. Can't give one up here. Three USA goals all early in the game have given them this 3-0 lead that looks like they'll be taking it at halftime. Saenz. Ball was deflected out. Shirley Cruz. Ball's pushed back to Acosta. There's a high pressure again from the U.S., but the halftime whistle sounds. Thoughts, Danielle, in the first half?
The start for the U.S. was clinical. I mean, 3 passes. Alex Morgan's first touch is a goal. I thought the U.S. played a good first 15 minutes, put Costa Rica under a lot of pressure, but slacked off a bit after that. I thought Crystal Dunn played fantastic, and Morgan Bryan was all over the place, very active in midfield.
Goal scorers Morgan, Lloyd, and Dunn at halftime. It's a 3-0 lead for the USA over Costa Rica.
Style lets you stand out from the herd. What's inside sets you apart. The 2016 Cadillac Escalade.
Hi, Genevieve again with 2 easy tips to improve your kitchen for less. Give your cabinets a fresh new look. Start with some primer, followed by a few coats of marine paint. It's super durable, easy to clean, and designed to repel water. Add some cool hardware, you're good to go. Next, a simple way to brighten your backsplash. Use peel and stick tile to get a fresh new look in no time at all. And for a simple way to earn cash back with no hoops to jump through, use the Bank Americard Cash Rewards card. Next break, a new use for old drawers.
To bring you Wendy's North Pacific cod sandwich, we send guys like this, on boats like these, in weather like this, all the way up here. For wild-caught fish like this, that we panko bread like this, for a sandwich that's light, crispy, and crunchy. And now try it like this, for $4.99.
Unleash your refreshing citrus kick. Do the do.
And we're back at Cricket Wireless. Switch and get a brand new LG Rizio for $19.99. Or take a spin with the Samsung Galaxy Grand Prime for $29.99. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
Today,
where is the beef?
Means something different. Some use beef frozen from far away. But Wendy's believes the juiciest hamburgers are made from fresh beef, raised
right here.
Land of the beef, home of the deliciously different Dave's Double.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shots line.
We're up. Go.
Welcome to Barclays Premier League Live on NBCSN.
That's the bottom line for all of Bournemouth's adventure in the second half. They find themselves 3-2 down. Can Bournemouth themselves create one last moment? They might be able to. Smith has played in Daniels. Oh, it's 3-3! What an extraordinary climax to this game!
Is this the moment? History is made! Jamie Vardy has scored in 11th consecutive Premier League games!
All the passion, the drama, the heart-pounding excitement of every single Premier League match, all at the tips of your fingers. 'Cause why settle for a television set when with NBC you can live the Premier League online?
Spectacular effort! Absolutely incredible!
Available on desktop, tablet, mobile and connected devices. NBC Sports Live Extra doesn't just take the world's top soccer league online, it takes it to the next level.
No? Oh, I say! What a goal by Jordan Ayew!
When a goal goes in, the scorer's stats and story come to you instantaneously. And if you missed that goal or just have to see it again, easily slide back to that moment to relive the excitement.
Villa needed something special, and Jordan Ayew has provided it at St James's Park.
But if a different match is must-watch, simply switch over with the tap of a finger.
Delaney's Evan Hitch Johnson. Lee! And it's a goal of the highest quality.
Plus, with the brand new tactical cam option, you're in charge of choosing your preferred view of the pitch. And with Live Extra available on Apple TV and Roku, enjoying these Premier League perks has never been easier. Especially when you consider that with all 380 matches available for your choosing, including Spanish language options, US fans have even more match choice than those in the UK.
You can watch any game in full on Premier League Extra Time or online at nbcsports.com/liveextra.
We go to where the action is and we take you with us.
Magnificent from Wayne Rooney. That was one of the best.
Once the final whistle blows, head back for full match replays, plus on-demand highlights of every single goal.
A sensational strike!
Plus, the can't-miss moments are posted right away on social media platforms for all to enjoy. And with NBCSports.com featuring a full variety of must-see, up-to-the-minute content, it is now your one-stop shop for all things Premier League.
Up now on NBC Sports World, Joe Prince-Wright sits down for an in-depth one-on-one interview with Manchester United midfielder Marouane Fellaini.
Pro Soccer Talk is your destination for the latest news, while the Two Robbies radio show and podcast bring expert opinions and unparalleled analysis. The Men in Blazers provide a Premier League perspective unlike any other, while PST Extra sets the scene for every round of matches with video previews, breakdowns and insights.
Between now and the start of 2016, that's going to be pivotal to see if they can stay in the top four.
Together, the NBC Sports Group's digital properties combine to create an unprecedented online experience for Premier League fans in the US. And as you can see, plenty of super supporters take full advantage.
It's another collision. A huge pilot. He was clearly speeding. The referee is on the scene.
Wherever you are, you're there. NBC Sports Live Extra, your home for live streaming coverage of Barclays Premier League. Anytime, anywhere.
Style lets you stand out from the herd. What's inside sets you apart. The 2016 Cadillac Escalade.
Hey guys, I'm back, and here's a great way to get a lot more out of these old drawers. First, you want to remove the hardware. Add a few coats of paint, stack them up, and fasten them together. It's that simple, and you have a new interpretation of a traditional bookcase. For a quick new accessory, wrap a jar with twine, spray paint it, and let dry. Then unwrap and stick in a tea light. And to get even more, the Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards card helps you stretch your budget with a 10% customer bonus offer. Visit the link for more tips.
Unleash your refreshing citrus kick. Do the do.
Today
Where's the beef?
means something different. Some use beef frozen from far away. But Wendy's believes the juiciest hamburgers are made from fresh beef, raised
Right here.
land of the beef, home of the deliciously different Dave's Double.
Love soccer but hate watching it alone? No worries. Download NBC Sports Matchmaker on your Apple or Android device. Message your mates and find the perfect place to meet up. NBC Sports Matchmaker.
2016 Olympic Games, live this August from Rio on NBC.
Style lets you stand out from the herd. What's inside sets you apart. The 2016 Cadillac Escalade.
Hey folks, Byron Talbot here. When I'm not putting a new spin on a recipe, I'm finding great tips for saving money around the kitchen. And together with Bank of America, we're going to share them with you. Like rinsing measuring cups in hot water before using syrups or oils. Now, they'll pour out cleanly without sticking. It's easy and nothing gets wasted. And an easy way to earn cash back is with the Bank of America Card Cash Rewards Card. You'll earn more cash back for the things you buy most, like 2% at the grocery store. I'll be back with another tip soon. Enjoy the show.
Today
Where's the beef?
means something different. Some use beef frozen from far away. But Wendy's believes the juiciest hamburgers are made from fresh beef, raised right here. Land of the beef, home of the deliciously different Dave's Double.
Unleash your refreshing citrus kick. Do the do.
Everyone to this CONCACAF Olympic qualifier between the United States and Costa Rica here on NBC Sports Live Extra. It's a 3-0 lead for the USA over Costa Rica. Alongside Danielle Slayton, I'm JP Della Camera. 3 goals for the USA inside of 15 minutes. They had other chances, Danielle, but couldn't get a fourth.
No, and the United States started off very, very well. Slumped a little bit in that final half of the first half. But in the second half, I'm looking for them to continue to progress in their decision-making in the final third. It's about solving problems and making the right choices in attack.
We talked before about goal differential. U.S. isn't worried about that. They're expecting to win all 3 games, finish in first place. But if you're Costa Rica, you have to worry about goal differential. So are they even more defensive-minded, or can they afford to be if they have to chase?
Well, I don't think they can sit back entirely. They've got to continue to play and go after it. I mean, 45 minutes is too long to try to kill a game entirely, but they've got to focus on staying connected and defending together. They really can't afford to give up another 3 goals in the second half.
So you wonder what that locker room conversation was like with Amelia Valverde and her team. We've got some good leaders out there, including Shirley Cruz and some experienced players. Some World Cup experience certainly has to help them. This is a huge half, though, for them. They've got Puerto Rico next. They should win that game, and then maybe everything to play for in that final game against Mexico. So a change is going to be made here. Kristen Granados will come in for Catherine Alvarado. Kristen Granados was a starter at the Women's World Cup. Played in all 3 of their games. collegiate experience in the United States, first at Virginia Commonwealth, then at the University of South Florida.
Playing for an old teammate of mine, Tiffany Roberts, while at VCU.
Second half underway. Let's see what Costa Rica can bring here in the second half. They had so little ball possession in that first half, and before you knew it, they were down by 3 goals. Diana signs. It's off Herrera and then out of play. Another throw in for Costa Rica. Only had 1 loss the World Cup, and it was only a 1-0 loss against Brazil on a goal that came in the 83rd minute.
And Costa Rica really did have a good showing. Their first ever appearance in the Women's World Cup, and to only have that 1 loss is a pretty remarkable feat, I'd say, for your first time out.
Free kick higher up the field here for Costa Rica. They've never been to the Olympics. A realistic goal here would be to finish in 2nd place in this group. But then they would have to face a 1st place team in Group B. Expected to be Canada. Expected. This free kick from well past 30 yards. Headed away. That's Herrera leaving it towards that right side. And that's knocked away from Sanchez.
The United States just does a fantastic job all over the field of putting immediate pressure on the ball. Costa Rica doesn't have but a second once they receive the ball to feet to make their decision and play it.
Signs with another throw-in. Costa Rica made that 1 change at halftime. U.S. status quo. Goal scorers Morgan, Lloyd, and Dunn for the U.S. Shirley Cruz with that pass across. Acosta. Daniela Cruz. Deflected off Dunn. Klingenberg blocked. Tobin Heath slowing things down, leaves it off. That's for Krieger. Krieger switched sides with Klingenberg.
I was thinking, I was like, what's she doing over there? It looks like they've shifted.
I had to wait to make sure it wasn't off of a set piece, but that's what's happened here. Klingenberg to the right and Krieger to the left. We saw Ali Krieger play a little bit as a central defender in the second half of that game against the Republic of Ireland when Hinkle came in on the left and Klingenberg moved to the right. And we also saw Klingenberg playing in the midfield as a holding midfielder.
Yeah, and it's certainly adding some versatility to both of those players. I like how Jill Ellis is trying players in different positions. Yes, they're switching outside back for outside back, but the reality is there's a little bit of different thought process that has to go through your head because you're playing next to different players and you've got to know those personalities.
Lloyd taken down from behind, draws the foul. And this time she's not going to take it. She'll be one of the targets.
And this is a familiar part of the field. We're used to seeing Carly Lloyd come out of that attacking center mid role. She's so dangerous when she can get in behind the midfielders and in front of the defenders at speed.
Pushed wide by Krieger. Dunn on that right side. Krieger and Klingenberg have now switched back to their normal spots. That's Krieger wide right. 50th minute, 3-0 U.S. lead over Costa Rica. This Olympic qualifier. Moran tried to settle it, could not. Cleared away. Johnston. And that's going to be knotted out of play. USA with a throw-in. They get it in quickly from Heath to Horan. Tobin Heath. Lindsay Horan. That was on the wrong side of Morgan. Morgan was cutting one way and Ball went the other. Driven long by Krieger, and that's too high. Klingenberg trying to keep it in play. Wow, that's a terrific job. A lot of players would have given up on that ball. Referee's got another foul.
Continue to watch that partnership between Tobin Heath and Megan Klingenberg. I mean, there's been times when, as you see here, Megan Klingenberg is higher than Tobin Heath, who is playing in that midfield position. So watch that interchange. It's been something that's been quite dynamic up this left flank throughout the match.
Yeah, we saw that a lot in the first half. Those two will be teammates this year in Portland in the NWSL. Ball played in, headed wide. Looked like a pass more than anything from Horan towards Julie Johnston.
Lindsay Horan making a good case that she needs to be a continual target in the box on set pieces. Does well to get on the end of this ball, and this is a difficult ball because she's running towards the goal. The ball's just a hair behind her, so she's got to try to slow down, get her body and her hips around that ball, but does well to get onto the end of it.
Costa Rica will play it wide. Signs with that pass ahead, knocked away. Missing it was Morgan. She and Lloyd both on the chase. It's a Costa Rica throw-in.
And it's so important for those two twin forwards right now, Alex Morgan and Carly Lloyd, to play close together. You can see that connectivity. Defensively, it means they can work together. And on attack, when the United States wins the ball, it means they can look for each other and actually combine because they're close enough together to play the ball to each other.
Ball is pushed wide. Barates high up the field, defended by Krieger. It's 1v1 at the moment. That was Raquel Rodriguez to try to make something happen. Rodriguez game-winning goal for Penn State against Duke in the College Cup final. As you mentioned before, first goal in Costa Rica's World Cup history as well. So some big goals in her young career, hoping to get a few more with Sky Blue this year in the NWSL.
And I've had the chance to talk to her, and she is just an incredible human being. Her coach at Penn State, Erica Walsh, says the same thing. Just so grounded, and has even said that her goal is to start a foundation in Costa Rica to help young girls continue to have the chance to play soccer. And I love that she sees the small picture and the big picture too.
Her dad was a former player, club team Herediano, also played on the national team for Costa Rica. Johnston, forward to Dunn. Krieger, back for Dunn. You can see that time too, she was higher up the field than Dunn on that flank.
And Jill Ellis gives her outside backs the green light to go. She demands a lot of them, absolutely. They've got to be active up and down the flank.
Flag up on the far side of the field. Costa Rica will put it back into play. But again, with goal differential looming as a tiebreaker, Costa Rica, this is a good score for them.
And they love these set pieces because even though they're not necessarily dangerous, they take a good 10, 20 seconds off of the clock.
Here's Dunn. Morgan, who's going hard after it. And it's going to be cleared out of play for a deep throw-in for the U.S. 3 subs allowed, but all 20 players in the roster can dress. So you wonder who the 3 might be that Jill Ellis will call on. Here's a quick one from Dunn, and that's wide.
I expect us to see some young faces. I think Mallory Pugh could get a look. I think Stephanie McCaffrey is somebody who's been really dynamic in attack. I mean, some of these younger players, these newer players, like Crystal Dunn, really making an impact and stepping into the role that, quite frankly, some big shoes have left. Yeah.
I remember when the Women's World Cup ended, people talked about a lot of changes because the roster was going to be smaller, but who would have predicted 8 people gone because of retirement, injury, and pregnancy from that World Cup?
I would not have expected it at all.
No one would have gotten that. Backing up is Diaz. Here's Alex Morgan to the end line, but by herself pretty much. Not much she could have done with that. Good to see Morgan healthy and fit.
And she gets in well, but her first couple of touches just let her down, takes her out wide. If she can get that clean first touch, she might be more central and actually challenge Diaz with a shot on goal there.
She had a series of injuries, so when the World Cup started, she was nowhere near 100%.
It's good to see the progress, as you've mentioned. I think she's a critical piece, especially with a smaller roster in the Olympics.
Morgan Bryant will take this corner. Those two had a battle earlier in the first half off of a corner kick at the other end of the field. There's Morgan Bryant, who plays for the Houston Dash, sending it in near post. Going for Julie Johnston again. Costa Rica trying to come back with it. Off a block. Dunn came back to get a piece of it. Sauerbrunn, the calm, safe ball back to Solo.
And I'd like to see the United States get back to that high-pressure defense. They don't have to do it for an entire 30 minutes, but that really was the energy with which they scored those goals early in the game, and they've gotten away from that a little bit. I think if they can pick and choose some moments to press the ball, I think that energy might come back and they might create some chances.
Klingenberg, Dunn, laying it off on the right side. Johnston. She'll drive it into the box. Got it down once. Heath kept it simple and short. Horan, Heath, Klingenberg, all three playing for Portland this year. It's going to tackle away, and Diaz prevents that from becoming a corner kick.
Well, you asked me if Costa Rica was going to defend more, and that's absolutely what they're doing. They are collapsing. Actually, what I think is probably a little bit too deep, but there were all 11 players within 30 yards of the goal trying to defend the United States right there.
Heath slowed down. Cruz, and now Herrera. Nice job pulling it back. That's some of their skill on the ball.
Yeah, great composure right there by Melissa Herrera.
Herrera was one of the three players that scored goals at the World Cup. He only conceded 4, scored 3. It's a nice idea. Ball skips away, but stays. Herrera controls it, plays it in. It's deflected away towards Heath. It was Sauerbrunn who was back there. Horan to the right side with that pass. Scampering forward is Krieger. Crystal Dunn. Defended by Cruz. Dunn cuts inside. Crystal Dunn with a shot that's blocked. It comes back out to Krieger. Cross is coming. Lloyd! Big save, Diaz. I thought Lloyd had another.
9 times out of 10, she finishes that ball. And I got to be honest, Dina Diaz said, "Ooh, look what I found," because it went directly into her arms. Good reaction save there.
It's a nice cross from Krieger.
Yeah, all good. All good attack, cross, header up by Carly Lloyd, and great save by Diaz.
Crystal Dunn holding it up. 59th minute, 3-0 U.S. lead. Their last goal was in the 15th minute. Crystal Dunn scored it. Klingenberg kept it forward. It's loose. Morgan, saved by Diaz. Earl U.S. have had now 2 good chances to get that 4th goal. Horan. Here's the U.S. with that pressure. Leads to that turnover. Heath. 23 yards out, sending it inside. Lloyd trying to inch that one forward. And Diaz will stop that.
You know, it's interesting right there, and we see Tobin Heath cut centrally. As we take a look back here and see Alex Morgan creating not 1 but 2 chances right there. And Jill Ellis talked about how they've been working in training on going centrally, and I thought that that was a little bit unique and a little different given the likelihood that they would play against so many CONCACAF teams that would bunker in. But she talked about the idea of developing the problem-solving ability of her team and saying, hey, we've got to practice getting numbers central so we can also balance that with our ability to attack the flanks.
Daniela Cruz will push it back. It was intended for Benegas. She's had a quiet game up top. No service, really. Krieger to feet of Dunn. Marked by Acosta. Edge of the box, left there by Morgan. Quick shot blocked. It was off Horan and then cleared away. The last 5 minutes, the USA have picked it up offensively.
And it's been their speed of play and their speed of thought, really.
Costa Rica sloppy defending there. Should have cleared that ball out a little bit easier than that.
Another one.
Yeah, you can't give USA second and third opportunities, especially to Lloyd. Lloyd's cross. There it is. 4-0. Morgan gets her second. And Costa Rica's inability to clear the ball burnt them.
This is a goal by good defending. And then look at Carly Lloyd and the texture and the pace that she puts on this ball is just perfect. She floats it right over the head of Saenz and Alex Morgan. That's an easy finish for a quality goal scorer like Alex Morgan.
And much like Abby Wambach, Carly Lloyd doesn't get enough credit for delivering balls like that.
That ball is brilliant. I mean, look at the backspin. Perfectly weighted, perfect distance. She gets her head up. She knows exactly where her partner is. And yes, that'll go down on the score sheet as a goal for Alex Morgan, but all that credit right there has to go to Carly Lloyd.
But if Costa Rica does a better job, I mean, it was one mistake after another, that ball should be upfield.
And that goal shouldn't even come to be. That final pass shouldn't even come to be, really.
I mean, think about this. They had less than 30 minutes to go, and they were only down Costa Rica by 3.
Yeah, and it's the little things. It's the attention to detail over the course of 90 minutes, especially as you start to get more fatigued, that separates the good, decent teams from the great teams. The United States is #1 in the world.
Sauerbrunn pushing it forward. Tobin Heath. This ball is deflected. Look at the effort from Lloyd. Just going as hard as she can after that ball.
The United States has always prided itself on its defensive mentality and its work rate and physicality. It's a perfect example of that right there by Carly Lloyd.
Morgan's second goal of the game, third in the last 2 games for Alex, who now has 59 international goals, and that last one really had to bother Valverde for a lot of reasons.
It was so preventable.
Barantes. Cruz leaving it inside the circle. Played long towards Herrera. Klingenberg won that. Heath back to Klingenberg. Knocked forward by Lloyd. It's a good half dozen passes they've strung together.
All one-touches passes as well.
Last time there was no runner up there on the pass from Morgan. Lloyd putting pressure on the ball. Morgan follows through as well. And that's what you talked about. If one goes and no one else goes, there's no real pressure, but 2 others follow.
Yep, the mentality is if one goes, we all go. And so if Carly Lloyd decides to step, we know we all got to step with her.
Daniela Cruz, Barantes, Acosta for Costa Rica. 65th minute. $4-0 lead for the USA. 3 goals in the first half, inside of 15 minutes, by the way, and 1 here in the 62nd by Alex Morgan, who has 2 goals on the night. Krieger The U.S. still have not gone to their bench to make a change.
We will see some changes, though. It's important to use fresh legs. You only get 3 subs in each game, and it's a short tournament. There's not too many rest days in between matches.
You're going to play 5 games if you get to that final. 3 in the group stage, semifinal game, and then the final. But she does want to see what some of these young players can do.
And that's the point, and that's why they are on this roster, is to see how they handle themselves in critical games of importance. This is likely the biggest game for many of these players, the biggest tournament for many of these players. So I anticipate we'll see them.
Off a block. I've hardly seen the ball that deep in USA territory tonight. Carly Lloyd back on the ball for the U.S. 66th minute. Sees where the goalkeeper is. Remember when she did that from farther back? Yeah. I think it was against Japan, wasn't it? World Cup final, if memory serves me correct.
She has talked about wanting to continue to develop her versatility and be more unpredictable. I mean, this is an example right here. She shoots from distance, and that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about problem solving and decision making. I mean, it's feeling it, and it's saying, hey, I'm going to take the onus to do what I think is right based on what I see of the field.
Dunn. Everyone left it. Krieger was the first one to get to it. Everyone got caught standing around ball watching.
Well, we see Megan Klingenberg on the left going that extra mile to keep that ball in, and the same effort by Ali Krieger on that right side.
Which Daniela Cruz, it looked like 8 that was down. Yep. And we're going to see some changes for the U.S. Jaylene Hinkle will replace Ali Krieger, so that means that Klingenberg would move to the right. Hinkle, more of a left-footed player, would take over as the left back. That's one change for the U.S.
And I think it's important to get somebody like Hinkle some experience. I mean, an obvious sub in the World Cup at the outside back position was Kelly O'Hara, but aside from that, there's not a ton of depth at that outside back position.
Inadvertently, she got hit in the end.
Looked like Crystal Dunn got her with her knee as she was running through.
So Jaylene Hinkle is in, and look who's coming in. Mallory Pugh will replace Crystal Dunn. Mallory Pugh is the youngest player in U.S. women's soccer history to be a part of an Olympic roster, an Olympic qualifying roster, and now becomes the first to play, youngest to play, in an Olympic qualifier. Good for her.
Yeah, and in her second cap, looks like we're going to see her in a little bit of a different role. She subbed in and went up top for Alex Morgan, but it looks as if she might be out wide, and I like to see her out there. See a little bit of a different look for her.
It's Carla Villalobos coming in for Melissa Herrera as the second change for Costa Rica. Well, let's see what the new faces in the game can do. Villalobos scored a goal at the World Cup. 3 games, she was more like a super sub for them. Came off the bench in all 3. Off that USA corner, Diaz comes out, grabs it in traffic here in the 69th minute. Well, with Mallory Pugh in the game, Jill Ellis was telling us yesterday she wants to get a look at how she plays both centrally and out wide.
And I had the chance to watch at the under-20 CONCACAF qualifying just a few months ago, and she played in both roles. She played up top, she played in an attacking center mid role, and she played out wide. So she certainly has the experience in all different positions, just not the experience at this fast of a pace and a level.
The game I watched her at against the Republic of Ireland, I was impressed with her poise, composure, comfortable on the ball.
I agree, because let me tell you, in your first cap, you're just thinking, don't mess up, don't mess up. And she played with composure like a veteran, far beyond her years and experience.
Wearing the number 2 today because of the change in numbers in the roster 1 through 20. Costa Rica on the ball, 70th minute. Can they minimize the damage in terms of the goal differential? They've given up 4 here. Signs. That's as high up the field as she has been tonight. It's a corner kick for Costa Rica.
It's Signs, somebody who likes to attack out of the back. She plays at USF, and her coach, Denise Schulte-Brown, says she is a courageous attacker from that outside back position. Likes to intercept balls and then go for it at speed.
Kristen Granados. Pushing it backward, Antes. Shirley Cruz. It was blocked by Mallory Pugh. Just outside the circle, Costa Rica will drive this one long. It's one in the air by the U.S. Taken back by Costa Rica. Cruz appeals for a foul, didn't get it. Carly Lloyd taking off. Over the top, intended for Pugh. Cleared up by Costa Rica. Tobin Heath will take the throw-in. That's Horan using her strength, getting somewhat free, slides it across, intended for Lloyd. Lloyd says corner, referee says goal kick.
Lindsay Horan does all the hard work, battling not 1, not 2, but 3 Costa Rican defenders. I'm just not sure that I like that decision. Carly Lloyd is outside of the near post, so even if she gets it, it's going to be tough for her to do anything right there. I'd like to see her get her head up and look for that second runner in the box.
Rodriguez leaves it off. Pushed wide. Cruz. Sanchez pass blocked. In the middle, it's Lloyd. Ball kept on the ground to the right side. Morgan Bryan is chasing in front. And missing the target was Heath.
Great run deep from midfield by Bryan, and then fabulous decision. This is the perfect time to play that early bending ball in behind the defender. It's too far for Diaz to come off of her line and get it. And unfortunately for the United States, Heath can't quite keep that under the crossbar.
And again, that was Morgan Bryan, a holding midfielder playing wide right. We've seen that a lot tonight. Back in the USA half. Klingenberg pushing it back to Solo. 73rd minute. USA with a 4-0 lead. They'll take on Mexico on Saturday. Costa Rica will be taking on a Puerto Rico side that were battered in the first game, 6-0 against Mexico. Maribel Dominguez with 3 goals.
It was fun to see her back in action. I haven't seen her play in quite some time, and she was just as active and emotional as ever.
A young 37.
Yeah,
Maribel
and
Dominguez.
she can move, let me tell you.
So this will be the final sub. Kristen Press is coming in, but it's for Julie Johnston. So they will be changing something out there, Danielle.
I would guess that's the
because
case
that's
too.
not a like for like swap. Not at all.
You see her giving directions right now.
Will they play with 3 in the back and change things up, or will they move somebody?
They might, and Jill Ellis is certainly not afraid to adapt and change. And this is a good opportunity for her players to learn a little bit something new.
That is good, if they can switch it to that.
Yeah.
For the last 15 minutes or so.
It looks to me like they've gone into a 3-5-2. So Hinkle and Sauerbrunn and Klingenberg in the back. Carly Lloyd withdrawing a little bit more into midfield. And then Alex Morgan and Kristen Press staying up top.
So now you've got all that firepower, too, up top with Press, Morgan, and Lloyd.
And Press is somebody who looks to get in behind more than Carly Lloyd. So look for her to push that restraining line.
Double deflection. Costa Rica able to clear it. There was a whistle before that. Flag was up. Kristen Press scored in the World Cup, but then disappeared pretty much. Lost her playing time there, and is trying to reclaim a lot of minutes, I guess, if you will, whether it's a starter or an everyday sub.
And coming into the World Cup, she was certainly somebody that a lot of people were talking about to have a real breakout tournament, and didn't quite result in the way that many people had thought, but she's worked back with her fitness. She's talked about building things back up again, and don't count her out yet. She's somebody who can make a difference.
Good goal scorer. NWSL last year, 10 goals in 11 games with Chicago. Did she put too much pressure on herself at the World Cup?
You know, I was thinking that because that's what happened before she got to the national team. She talked about the pressure that she was under, and she went away to Sweden and felt like she found herself again. And I was thinking, you know, maybe there was a little bit of that had some residual effect.
Again, Costa Rica will give up possession all too easily. Heath on the left. U.S. have made their 3 changes. She'll play it across. And Diaz gives no rebound there. '77th minute, 2 goals by Alex Morgan, 1 by Carly Lloyd, 1 by Crystal Dunn. It's a 4-0 USA lead over Costa Rica.
And a 4-0 scoreline for Costa Rica isn't good, but it doesn't count them out entirely. We'll see the matchup that happens for Costa Rica and Puerto Rico, and then the United States and Mexico, which are the 2 next matchups. But 4-0, if they can keep it here, they've got a chance. If they give up another 2-3 goals, I think they're in some serious trouble.
I want to see how Mexico comes out on Saturday, because that's a totally different game as well for them.
I'm
taking
curious.
the U.S.
And they've got to put some good players out there, because like this game, they've got to keep it close and they've got to compete. But they also have that 3rd match to consider, and the tight matchup that really could happen between Costa Rica and Mexico.
Too far. Intended for Heath. 78th minute. USA with a strong performance. Opening night for them in CONCACAF Olympic qualifying. Second game of the doubleheader. Mexico winning the first game 6-0 over Puerto Rico. Group B starts tomorrow. Guatemala versus Trinidad and Tobago. Canada versus Guyana. I want to see how the Canadians are.
I was thinking the same thing too, and thinking how they've progressed with all of the pressure and attention that was on them this summer.
Probably a last chance, I would think, in a big tournament for Christine Sinclair. She might have another Women's World Cup left in her, but that's 4 years away.
Yeah, I mean, she's certainly somebody who could possibly do it. I mean, she's got the talent and the technical ability, but the question really becomes, as you get up into their mid-30s and so, is can your body really handle it over an extended period of time? But man, I've had fun watching her play, and I hope we get to play.
Great. No, she's a great player.
I hope she gets to play, yeah, for a while.
Mallory Pugh on the chase. The 17-year-old cuts. There's that composure. Kept it low, and it was stopped by Diaz. Looked like he may have taken a deflection on the way in. Heath made the run across.
But it's her composure and her confidence to go on and take that defender on 1 versus 1. Not sure if Press got a toe on it or not, but just the same, good, dangerous attacking opportunity by a young player who's getting her feet about her.
There were rumors she was going to go pro and sign with Portland, but she's going to go to UCLA.
Head coach Amanda Cromwell is certainly pleased with that. They've also got Jessie Fleming, the young player from Canada, who's going to be joining them as well. So a dangerous.
Yeah, I was going to say Amanda did well with that recruiting class, even if she has no others.
Dangerous class.
This is a young player coming in that I enjoyed watching at the under-17 level. Gloriana Villalobos. Keep in mind, she is 16. She made her debut at age 12. There's a lot that she can do on the field. She was on the World Cup roster, but didn't play. Look who she's replacing.
Changing of the guard a little bit here, perhaps. I guarantee you there are a lot of college coaches who are watching to see how Gloriana Villalobos does. She's young, but she's got experience at the under 17, under 20, and been in with the full team for quite some time.
She's basically been playing at least 3 or 4 years younger than the group that she's been involved with.
Well, and there's some real comparisons here between Gloriana Villalobos and Mallory Pugh. And how do these head coaches, Amelia Valverde and Jill Ellis, take an ambitious yet cautious approach and make sure that these young players are players who are a part of their national teams for not just 2 or 3 years, but for 10 or 12 or 15 years even, because they are so young right now.
Nodded away by Klingenberg towards Pugh. Comes back with the ball, makes the safe pass back to Klingenberg in the middle for Morgan Bryan. Big switch across the field, kept in by Heath. Hinkle pass blocked, but the U.S. recovers. Left sideline, Heath. Costa Rica double her up. Sanchez. It's going to be a goal kick for Diaz. Good work rate from Tobin Heath all night.
And I expect Tobin Heath now that Jaylene Hinkle is in the game to play more of that traditional left midfield role and be that one who's attacking toward the end line, as she is right here.
She's played in 2 World Cups and also 2 Olympics for the U.S.
And really just adds a different flavor and a flair to the way that the United States plays. Much like a Megan Rapinoe, very technical on the ball, and also somebody to continue to watch in the future, Stephanie McCaffrey, very savvy and technical on the ball, just like Heath.
You mentioned Rapinoe. She's one of the 8 players we talked about that are missing in action, an ACL, and they have not written her off for the Olympics.
I gotta tell you, I wouldn't write her off until the very last second either.
Nor would I.
She's an important piece, or was an important piece in Canada, and I think she's going to be an integral part of this team going forward.
The hope is that she could get back early, and with the Olympics not starting till August, the hope that maybe she could get to play in some NWSL games before a decision would have to be made.
The challenge for Jill Ellis is really, though, that it's a smaller roster.
Yep.
So you don't have that luxury of taking those maybe players as much as you did in the World Cup.
Heath inside, brought down well, and there's the goal by Press. Goal number 5. She took it down well, and that one really hurts Costa Rica with a goal differential.
We'll put this one on the highlight reel, set it to music. Look at this back touch, great use of getting it out wide, using the width well, and then just look at this savvy little touch with the back of her heel, and then the composure to keep her body down, her head down, and get this on target. That's excellent body control right there as she stumbles.
It's a goal scorer's goal, isn't it?
Yeah, she's just so deadly in front of the box, and when I've seen her train, she lines up with 40 balls, hits 10 with her right, 10 with her left to the far post, 10 with her right, 10 with her left to the near post. She spends time in front of the goal, and it's in moments like that where you can tell she's put in the work.
30th international goal for Kristen Press. Goal comes in the 83rd minute. Sauerbrunn. For the longest time, it looked like this game could have ended up as a 3-0 scoreline. Right now, it's 5-0 for the USA. Morgan and Press with the last 2 goals. This ball comes through to Diaz.
And at this point, with just 6-7 minutes left, if I'm Costa Rica, I'm putting everybody in front of the box. It sounds a little bit odd because you're down by 5 goals, so you're thinking, what do they have to lose? But the reality is that goal differential could play a factor in this group because Mexico is one of the other groups, or one of the other teams in Group A.
Tiebreakers, goal differential first, goals scored head-to-head, and then, God forbid, drawing of lots. That's always in there. Luckily, we haven't seen any of these tournaments that we've been involved in come down to that.
Again, take a look at the savvy first touch. And just sneaks it into the near post. Dina Diaz has to do a better job of covering that near post. I've seen her in the past give up some goals, and that's really an area as a goalkeeper you absolutely have to own, because no defender can get there to help you out. At the far post, maybe they have the time to recover.
Throw in here for Costa Rica. Should kill as much time as they can. 86th minute. They'll take on Puerto Rico on Saturday. You saw Puerto Rico play against Mexico. Could they give them a game?
Could Puerto Rico give the United States a game?
No, Costa Rica, no. Could they give Costa Rica a game?
I don't think so. I think there is certainly a level and a difference between even a team like Mexico or Costa Rica that's in that 20 to 40 range in terms of world ranking. Puerto Rico did what they can, but they're just not as athletically built and technically savvy as even a team like Costa Rica is.
Signs. Heath. Sauerbrunn. Klingenberg. Ball's picked off. Good to see Morgan tonight not only score 2 goals, but she's going to play 90 minutes tonight at a high level in terms of intensity, effort, all of that. The runs with the ball, off the ball.
She's been very active and done a good job of helping the United States keep possession and make runs inside the box and get on the end of some chances.
The first goal started the U.S. off on the right foot, 12 seconds in.
You know, the 2 players of the match for me, though, are Lindsey Horan and Morgan Bryan. I think they've done a fantastic job of helping the United States keep possession. Defensively, they've clogged channels, and they've made runs into the box themselves. I mean, Morgan Bryan has been all over the place. I'd love to see her GPS tracker this game.
That's a good idea for Pugh, but the ball just got away. Yeah, at one point the question was, who's going to play next to Lauren Holiday? They sorted that out. Not only did they sort that out with Bryan, but then the question became, who's going to play with Bryan? And Horan might be the one.
Yeah, she's been a real bright spot, and the question becomes is, can she do it consistently over time, not just in 1 or 2 games or 1 or 2 camps?
The victory tour was fun. It gave us some good moments, but it was, what it was a victory tour, right? So these are the ones that really matter. And even if the competition is not as good as maybe some other teams are that they'll play later, you can still tell a lot more in a game like this than you could in the victory tour.
Yeah, and the setup for the United States might be just about right. You get some of these younger players some experience, albeit in Olympic qualifying, so a little pressure there. And then next month, you got some big dogs coming to town, and you've got Germany, you've got France, you've got England in the lineup, and so a real test in terms of quality competition around the world.
Throwing for Heath. Only 12 teams make the Olympics. 7 teams are already in. 2 more will come in from this group, 2 from Asia, and another European club.
And I've got to say, I was surprised by the teams out of Africa. None of the teams from Africa that were in the World Cup are going to the Olympics. We've got South Africa and Zimbabwe, so newer faces to the crowd.
This is the first time that I can remember Nigeria not being a part of any major tournament. They always end up playing the U.S.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to the growth of women's soccer around the world. More and more parity, more and more names, and more countries investing in their women's programs.
Sending it in. Tennifer press. Not used to seeing her either with that number 12 that was changed. Klingenberg, throw in, 90th minute. See how much stoppage time is put up. to leave it off. Klingenberg. Up the middle, pass is intercepted. Presses on the chase defensively. Throw in here for Costa Rica in the dying moments of this opening game for these two teams.
And Costa Rica's got to regroup. All hope is not lost, but they certainly have some things that they're going to need to assess and fix. Defensively, they've got to stay together. And then on attack, which we didn't really see much today, they've got to figure out a way to put some passes together because they're going to have to get some goals against Puerto Rico.
Saw 3 minutes added on, and we are into stoppage time now. Both teams have used their full complement of subs. Blasted away by Costa Rica. Sauerbrun's pass ahead. Klingenberg moving it ahead. Mallory Pugh running it to the end line, cutting it back into a good spot. And I'm not sure how that one was missed. Carly Lloyd making that run up the middle. Well done all around by Mallory Pugh. Signs under pressure. Bryan is there. Press is there as well. And Costa Rica loses it. Long throw in, brought down. Press. Bryan. Hinkle. Klingenberg. Second minute of stoppage time, a 5-0 USA lead over Costa Rica. Hinkle, nice ball. Heath, end line. Kept it in until that last moment. Should be a corner for the U.S.
We'll take a look back at Mallory Pugh. She cuts in a little before this, and this time she makes a decision to go end line. Perfectly placed ball all the way along the carpet, and 99 times out of 100, not even 9 out of 10, 99 times out of 100, Carly Lloyd gets that on target.
Short corner. Possession kept by Heath. Look at that move. She's trying to get through. Tobin Heath with a little showtime here in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. So high up the field. Klingenberg. Mallory Pugh. Jaylene Hinkle. Bryan. Sauerbrunn. Klingenberg. Less than a half minute to go. Towards the end line, knocked out, corner kick. If they get it off, the referee may end it before. Past the 3 minutes of stoppage time. This will probably be the last kick of the game then. Cleared away by Barantes. The referee's found more time to add on. Put another 30 on the clock. And maybe more. No, that's it. Well, the U.S. ended this with an exclamation point, I would think, Danielle, with a goal by Kristen Press, a 5-0 win.
The United States started off well. They finished well. The tempo ebbed and flowed a little bit throughout the game, but good and solid performances by a wide variety of players. Great result. The key now, can they continue to build? They've got a tough match against Mexico coming up, and it's not just about this event. It's about building towards the Olympics in Rio and really building this program with a lot of new faces.
2 goals by Alex Morgan, 1 from the captain, Carly Lloyd. Crystal Dunn scored, Kristen Press scored. So they had some balance to the attack today. Didn't have to be Carly Lloyd getting 3 goals or more.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I was really pleased with Crystal Dunn and the energy and the ability that she attacked at speed, cutting inside. I thought Haran and Brian did a very good job of really distributing the ball. They had great vision in their ability to execute and play forward. It was really something special tonight.
Another shutout for Hope Solo. 92nd of her career. 140th win in goal for the U.S. Costa Rica didn't really threaten tonight. A couple of yellow cards in the first half to Diaz and Alvarado. Julie Johnston had a yellow card for the U.S. But the U.S. did what they wanted to do. Got the balance scoring. Got 90 minutes out of Alex Morgan. Got to play some of their younger players. So they pretty much checked all the boxes probably that they had coming into the game.
And I think it's an important piece for us to continue to see the chemistry evolve between Carly Lloyd and Alex Morgan. Those are the two that Jill Ellis seems like she's going to go with up top. In an ideal situation, they've tinkered with a couple of different formations, shifted into that 3-5-2. So she has some weapons and some options, but that's going to be a key pairing heading into Rio.
Group B play starts tomorrow, so you can catch all of it on NBC Sports Live Extra. Tomorrow it's Guatemala versus Trinidad and Tobago, and it's followed up by Canada versus Guyana. See how many changes from that World Cup team John Herdman will have. There were some veterans left off of that squad.
Much like the United States, Canada's probably got to transition and continue to evolve. So it'll be fun to watch them play tomorrow.
Those are the 2 games tomorrow. We've closed out Group A, though, with this second game. First game was Mexico 6-0 over Puerto Rico. Maribel Dominguez at age 37. 3 goals and probably could have had more. That was in game 1. And then this game ends up with a 5-0 scoreline in favor of the USA. 2 goals for Alex Morgan, 1 for Carly Lloyd, 1 for Crystal Dunn, and 1 for Kristen Press. Let's get some post-match reaction.
Captain of US. Carly, congratulations for tonight's win. As a captain, how do you assess your team's performance tonight?
I think we did some really good things tonight. You know, some new faces that got on the pitch, and you know, I thought overall, you know, we brought the fight and scored some great goals. We've got to put this one to bed and move on and get ready for Mexico.
You had a good night tonight. You scored 1 goal and played really aggressive. What was the key?
You know, I think the support and help of the teammates was huge. I think we had some good combination plays. You know, Crystal Dunn being brought down in the box, and I stepped up to take the PK. Alex did really well tonight, finishing off her chances. So I thought overall, you know, we did really well. Press coming in and scoring a great goal as well. So great team effort, and we got to move on to the next one.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank you.
Good assessment from the captain, Carly Lloyd, who scored 1 goal tonight. Alex Morgan scored 12 seconds in. Had 2 goals.
We have Alex Morgan from US. Alex, you scored the fastest goal of the history of this tournament. This is a new record for US and for you. How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel good just the fact that we started off the game in this tournament really well with the goal. And I think we shot Costa Rica's confidence a little bit with that goal in the first couple of seconds. We've been working on that play, so I'm glad that we executed it perfectly. And I'm happy to start off the tournament with the goal as well.
What do you think about your next opponent?
I mean, we just finished Costa Rica, and now it's time to prepare. It's you know, Mexico is also another good opponent that is going to be similar to Costa Rica. We haven't seen them in a while, so you know, hopefully our scouts have been doing their job well, and we'll get a good scouting report in the coming days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A good night for Alex Morgan with her 2 goals, including 1 12 seconds in. For Danielle Slaten, I'm JP Delacamera. Thanks for watching all the action tonight here on NBC Sports Live Extra.
Style lets you stand out from the herd. What's inside sets you apart. The 2016 Cadillac Escalade.
Check this out, bro. What's that, Brohim? I switched to Geico and got more. More savings on car insurance? That's not all protein shake. Geico has motorcycle and RV insurance too.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Unleash your refreshing citrus kick. Do the do.
Love soccer but hate watching it alone? No worries. Download NBC Sports Matchmaker on your Apple or Android device. Message your mates and find the perfect place to meet up. NBC Sports Matchmaker.